for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. Ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. Talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it.
It's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. Ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it.
Welcome, everybody, to Head to Head with Brian Parker. I am he, and we are here for season 4 of our show. Let me bring on my co-host. Say, everybody, say hello, Lori. How you doing?
How you doing? How you doing?
I am good. I'm good. And also, the one, the only, the one that doesn't really need an introduction, but we'll introduce him anyway. The man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Extraordinaire, Jermaine Parker, the franchise. How you doing, sir?
Hey, what's going on, family?
Man, what's up? What's up? We are back.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're back like we never left, except for I hit that one little button by mistake. So I got to get used to that, and I'll get my graphics and stuff working too, because I don't know what's going on with that right now. But a lot has changed since we've been gone. So just to bring everybody up to speed, Head to Head is a show that we typically do every Thursday. We live stream it at 7 p.m. It does try stream. I hope that's a real word, but we try stream on LinkedIn, Facebook, as well as YouTube. Our YouTube channel is NPower TV Network. Please visit that when you get a chance. Like, share, and subscribe. We definitely want to try to build our subscribers up more and more. That will help with the algorithm. And it will get the show out to a lot more generic viewers out on YouTube. So if you're watching us from LinkedIn or Facebook, we definitely appreciate that. But we really, really would like if you would support by just simply going to the YouTube page, giving a nice like, but also subscribe, and please share the page with other folks so that they can do the same. We would greatly appreciate it. And then anytime we go live streaming and anything, and you've already liked the YouTube app, the little bell should let you know anytime that we go live so you don't miss out on anything. We absolutely appreciate that. Man, I cannot believe it's been 3 years. In 2020, we started the NPower Network, and it was basically to offer a platform to a lot of creatives, and it still is. So if you are creative or you know anyone else that's a creative, somebody that has their own talk show, podcast, they do short films, feature films, and they're independent artists. They shoot music videos, anything like that. NPower TV Network is a great resource because we're on Roku as well as Amazon Fire TV. Each of those platforms house over 75 million users worldwide. So you do the math, that's 150. And as we can see with the rising cost of cable, more and more people are looking for streaming options. So this can definitely be another platform in addition to the traditional platforms that people use, such as YouTube, Vimeo, and those kind of things to put their work out there. This is just another way to be able to do that. Any content users that want to fund their work on the platform via commercials, embedding commercials into their project, we have no problem working with you to do that. For more information, please reach out to me at theparkermedia@gmail.com, and we will get that going. If you are a content provider, or maybe you provide a good or a service and you would like to air that on our program, please again reach out to me, and we can look at coming up with a 30, 45, 60-second commercial to let people all over know about the good or service that you do provide. One shining example of that we're happy to always push out there is our commercial for Jermaine Parker Realty. And just to kind of give you an idea of what that looks like, check this out right here. Is it a good time to buy or sell a house? No, it is a great time to buy or sell a house.
And at a time like this, having a realtor who has your back is key. Introducing Jermaine Parker Realty. Here for all of your needs. Licensed in both North Carolina and South Carolina. Let Jermaine Parker Realty help you with your next big investment.
That is Jermaine Parker Realty, and yeah, we're gonna probably have to update that soon. But that just gives you an idea of commercials that we place. We already did get one comment already. Somebody noticed that Jermaine has a beard. Anthony, welcome back, Anthony. How you been doing, buddy? He says, "What's this? No shave summer? The franchise comes back with a beard."
Hey Anthony, welcome back, brother. I am retired from the Air Force after 26 years, and something I wasn't able to do for the last 2 decades. It's salt and pepper. It's ready to go for the summer.
That is funny, and we're gonna the first half of the show really is gonna be about catching up. Like, hey, what's been going on over the last? It's been 4 months, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, Jermaine retired. What, March the 8th was it? Did I get my day right? March 6th, March 8th.
March 8th was my last day in the Air Force in
Wow.
uniform.
In uniform, yeah. So that's a hell of an accomplishment. Congratulations, and yeah. So now Jermaine Parker Realty, I guess, gets you more of a full-time basis with that. Before we step into that too, just to let everybody know too, another one of our shows will be coming back in the next couple of weeks, and that's going to be Head to Head Sports with myself and my co-host, Mr. Randall Hargrove. Hey, Erica Shepard, how you doing, darling? What's up, Mr. Joe Lowry? Joe Lowry. Um, but yeah, we will have Head to Head Sports in the next couple of weeks, where myself and my co-host, Mr. Randall Hargrove, will discuss everything NFL. Can you believe it? Football season is right around the corner. I can smell training camp. I'm ready to sit there and eviscerate all the Dallas Cowboy fans. Erica, I am wonderful. Great. Glad to hear it. And thank you for joining. Um, but yeah, we can eviscerate the Dallas Cowboy fans, but we will go through before the regular season begins and do our regular 4-week lead up to the football season, where we will spend each week breaking down different conferences and divisions, and ultimately coming up with our Super Bowl uh, prospects and everything else. So we'll try to get you caught up with what all the teams have done in the offseason, from the NFL draft to free agent acquisitions, new coaches moving around, that kind of thing. Big players moving around, whether it's Aaron Rodgers going from Green Bay to the New York Jets, Tom Brady retiring and owning part of the LA Raiders, to Derek Carr going from the Raiders to New Orleans. Just so many things going on. That's just off the top of the chrome. To even free agents still being out there, whether it's Saquon Barkley, whether it's um, Ezekiel Elliott not signing up, and everything else. Go Bears. LinkedIn user. Okay, go
Thank
Bears.
you, LinkedIn user.
LinkedIn user, stay tuned to that, because we will talk about your Bears, because the NFC North is probably going to have a new champion this year. Could it be you? Oh, that's Scott. Scott Littleson. What's going on, Scott? Talking about go Bears. Okay. Now I see. Let's go Bears. I don't know about. Well, we'll see. Justin Fields is another year into it, so we'll talk about all of that too. But I still don't think you guys did a whole lot with defense and stuff. So he's gonna have to win a bunch of shootouts and stay out of harm's way and stay healthy for you guys to have a chance. But I don't see the Packers winning that division, and the Vikings may take a step back. So who knows about those Detroit Lions coming up in that NFC North? We'll talk about stuff like that coming up. I'm keeping an eye on it. And we'll talk about everybody's talking about the Jets coming up this year and everything, Jermaine, just because Aaron freaking Rodgers is in New York, as if that division isn't one of the hardest divisions that's going to be out there, in the same division as the Miami Dolphins, the New England Patriots, and of course the Buffalo Bills. So they may be good, but they are going to have a very tough division, and their very first 6 games of the year are nothing but one landmine after another. So we'll talk about all of that, including my Carolina Panthers with their number 1 pick, picking up Bryce Young in the draft. I think he was 4'7", and We'll see if they're going to allow phone books to be out in the backfield so he can stand on them so he can see over the defense.
That was
Uh,
just not appropriate at all.
I, I,
And
I,
and
I'm not the football guy that you are and stuff, but a lot of people in the organization are really happy with his
they are.
professionalism and how he's taken to the play. They've been open up their playbook because he's such a smart guy and stuff. So I'm real hopeful this year for the Panthers. Put the
I,
right weapons around him.
I'm hopeful too. It's I probably have more PTSD in a way from just very good smaller quarterbacks not making it in the
Yeah,
NFL. Drew Brees was an aberration, but even when he first started, he had shoulder issues when he was with the Chargers back in the day before everybody knew Drew Brees from New Orleans lore and everything. He struggled at first staying healthy. Michael Vick can never play a full season. He was always undersized, but he was a dynamic player.
yeah,
Robert Griffin III's NFL career got cut short because of his height. Johnny Manziel never made it. Baker Mayfield is on the fourth team. There's just so much evidence about these shorter guys. Once they get hit, Kyler Murray can't stay healthy a full season right now for the Cardinals, and I know they're probably having buyer's remorse for renewing his contract 2 or 3 years too early. So it's just little stuff like that where I do hope that what he has above his shoulders will keep him out of harm's way to the point that he can have a long lasting NFL season. You just don't see it a lot with smaller quarterbacks because when they take that first hit by a 6'7", 370-pound defensive lineman, that's when it gets real. That's when the ish gets real. Or as these young kids like to say now, F around and find out. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
what before you even go on this one, keep continuing on because I know you want to promote the sports show, and it's coming. But I just want to say, hey, Erica, missed you as well. Thank you so much for joining the show. She did send me a little message, so I just wanted
I see.
to.
That's why you had to get in because she specifically singled you out. So you had
Yeah.
to. Yeah, I got you. I got you. I see the comment now. That's very sweet. Y'all can have y'all girl time, um, and your New Yorker time and all that. Erica, I can't get this girl to say stuff without a W in it. I don't know what's going on with her.
Again,
Yeah.
you chose me.
No. You stalked me. Let's be clear. But anyway, semantics.
I
Tomato. Anyway, so many things have been going on, and like I said, just catch up with us. We'll have the show as many weeks as we can, unless something crazy comes up. We'll definitely try to keep this time. I feel like this time does work better for a lot more viewers. Leave my girl alone, Erica says. And all I can say to that, Erica, is make me. So I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do anything to her. That's not reversible. But anyway, she'll just have to take trash out the next couple of weeks. But anyway, so hey y'all, what's been going on in everybody's life over the last 4 months or so? Any new things been going on, Lori?
uh not as much as I'd like to be. I know you've had a lot of things that are going on during our little hiatus.
Well, listen, it's not always about me.
Um,
I mean,
no,
it can be. It is head to head with Ryan Parker, so I guess there is a point to that.
yes, there is a point. So,
I was just trying to give
um,
you a chance before I spend the next
well,
5 minutes talking about myself.
yeah, that's okay. I can get in and fit in where I need to be.
Okay.
So during that hiatus, um, and I'll just sit there and say both Brian and I took a real estate course, and
Oh, really?
yes,
What
yes.
happened?
So we were both studying for it, and unfortunately, during that time, I was a couple of points shy. So I was not able to get that. But I am not, I said I will not be defeated.
Mm,
So I'm doing it again because it was only 4 points.
Yeah.
So I have re-signed up again to get that under my belt because I'm just stubborn and I just want to make sure that I'm gonna get it going and get it across the finish line.
Okay.
Um, other than that, uh, I actually, and then also during that hiatus, I had a great opportunity where I was able to network and to where I attended the Society of Human Resource Management annual conference in Las Vegas, Nevada. So I had a chance to meet some great HR professionals um, and was able to network. So did a little bit of traveling, not as much as you, Brian, but I'm just here in the back.
Well, one thing that I thought was really cool and interesting about about the trip that you had to Las Vegas, which I was originally supposed to go with you on because Janet Jackson was your featured musical guest. And
Yes,
anybody,
absolutely. And she was wonderful.
okay, yeah, you don't have to keep rubbing it in. Everybody knows that Janet Jackson is secretly my baby mama, and that I would definitely drink her bath water. Uh, but anyway, that's a whole nother Janet. Anyway, um, what was really interesting, other than the bathwater and Janet, was the fact that you had ran into somebody and you mentioned to them uh, about the show, and it was a lady from Texas, I believe, and she was already familiar with the show, and basically said that she watches the show, so she knew
Yes.
about it all the way from Texas. So that does show that NPower TV network, airing on Roku and Amazon Fire TV, does reach people out there, and I do have the analytics that prove that too, not just in the U.S., but it does reach all the way across into places like India, St. Martin, Puerto Rico, England, seeing different analytics show up from different places. So, but that was pretty cool
Well, well,
when you said
yes,
that and she mentioned my name. I'm like, wow, that's
yes,
just kind of crazy.
yes. Um, so at the conference, there was a total of 25,000 attendees, attending the conference for 3 days. But how I found her, because she was actually a vendor, worked for on behalf of Sherm. So I was it, talking about the show, and she was just like, "Oh, I'm really familiar with it." So shout out. And then, as I said, she knew you, so which was really wonderful, and I had a great shout out to her, and I have to reconnect with her again because I need to at least bring her on the show because she does have her business and everything, but she would be a great resource, especially with leadership and with as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Anthony had two comments, and Anthony,
Yes.
I didn't miss it. We'll get into that too. We'll catch up on how President Joe keeps sending money overseas, and we need help in the USA. Absolutely, and how Joe keeps falling over himself in interviews. And then and then Erica said same thing. Had to do same thing. All these surgeries, had to drop out, but back in her cybersecurity program, we wish you nothing but the best on that. Know you're gonna knock it out and do phenomenally well with that, Erica. No doubt in my mind at all. And then, of course, Anthony, out of everything that I said, the one thing that he heard was, "Hold on, I know you're not drinking Janet Jackson's bathwater." First of all, it's Miss Jackson,
If you're nasty.
and because I am, it's Miss Jackson. And out to that, listen,
But
Janet Jackson,
actually, audience, just to say, because I was trying to be very good, even though unfortunately, due to scheduling, Brian was not able to come with me. But I did send him videos that I got close up to seeing Janet Jackson. So I tried to involve him there. I
see,
tried to be a good wife.
that just made me being in Philadelphia feel even worse though. So thank you, Casamigos, for making me feel a lot better about the situation. Segment is brought to you by Casamigos. Pour it in my cup. Um, which, by the way, Lori, did you know that I was actually gonna get my name changed to Mr. Pound Town?
No, I did not. And
No,
why?
I don't know if you've heard the song, but if you listen to the song Pound Town, and then you'll understand why.
Really?
You know, something
Okay.
about scratching cookies.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna just sit there and say, hell to the no, no. And Erica is rolling off over with laughter.
You need to hear the song. You need to hear the song, and then maybe you'll appreciate me being called Mr. Pound Town. So the next time we do the show, it won't say Brian Parker. It'll say Mr. Pound Town.
Pound town.
Pound Town Parker from Anthony Price.
It just rolls
Ain't
off
that
the tongue.
now? Oh, okay. Here we go. And it's starting up again. I guess that's why I got to change the Chiron for you. That's your new name now. Got
Pound
it.
Town. Yeah, look for that on OnlyFans. BP Pound Town. So on OnlyFans, and please subscribe, but please don't watch it around your kids. I ain't gonna be responsible for the anywho, so yeah, so Lori alluded to the fact that we took a real estate class. You know, I wasn't gonna necessarily bring that up, but I did pass the test, did get everything good. So I got my real estate license I guess a week ago, and have already joined the Realtor Association. So I am a realtor, and I've actually had my license activated by the one and the only Jermaine Parker Realty. So my broker in charge is the franchise. How about that? See how that works? So yeah, very soon I will be selling houses and doing property management or whatever comes that way. So we'll get that going very shortly. But there's been so many other things. Jermaine's retirement, of course, the real estate classes, just a lot of traveling and doing other things. Do you flip houses? I'm with you, Lori. Hell no. Oh, Erica,
No.
keep an open mind, damn it.
No, we're not. We're not keeping an open mind.
You
And
know.
actually, because Anthony asked a question about do you flip houses now that you've entered into the real estate?
I've never really thought about flipping houses because that's a lot of work. You know, buying houses, um, gutting them out, putting stuff in, and things like that. Never really thought about going that avenue. More of my avenue has just been selling houses or doing some property management of houses for owners that don't want to go through the day-to-day operations of managing their property, whether it's short-term rentals, Airbnb, things like that, kind of managing on that side in addition to selling homes. At some point, maybe purchasing properties and doing that kind of thing, but not really anything on the side of flipping just yet. That may be something that eventually um, we'd look at doing, but right now that's a lot of time and just getting those houses because you know when you get a flip a house, you got to make sure everything's brought up to code. It's just a lot of extra stuff that you got to really do with that. So I'm gonna start out with the normal stuff first, and then build on top of that as we go. But great question, Anthony. Jermaine, anything else going on in your world right now?
You know, you hit the big things, man. This is a pretty big year for me, career wise. You know, as aforementioned, I'm retired now, hence the salt and pepper beer. This is also for the demographics. We're trying to pull in some more overseas, and so you know, it's gonna get fuller. It's going, yeah. I've been putting the beard oil on it and stuff. It's soft, ladies. It's soft. You can come touch it. It's soft. And so, uh, and like you said, I've got more free time, and I've been doing my real estate business part time for the last couple years and stuff. Jermaine Parker Realty came online in 2020. And so in 2023, my brother joins us. And so it becomes a family business. I've always considered our clients to be family in the way that we treat everybody. And so this is just another element. And soon Lori will have her license. You know, she was like, say, just 4 points away from passing that test and getting there. So she's going to reattack that. And so it's going to be family business. And so the question for Anthony about flipping houses and stuff, at some point, I kept promising, but I had so much stuff going on that I never really got the main event podcast back up and stuff. But we're going to get some episodes and content back out here on NPower and YouTube Obviously, NPower does was it
We do.
the two streaming platforms that NPower's
Oh, yeah.
connected to.
Roku and Amazon Fire.
Roku and Amazon Fire. I'm sorry, I just had a big brain fart. And so trying to get that exposure out there. And so when it comes to advice about those kind of things about flips or just a home market in general, one of the things that I've been full time on is my knowledge of of what the local real estate is and stuff. And so that with the partnerships I made over the last couple of years, I've got some real fire lenders that I want to introduce you guys to. And like I said, this is it's a small company with big results. If you have some real estate needs or you just want some real estate advice, just want that. It's one of those kind of things. I just love talking real estate, and I love being a help to people. It's a major purchase for most people. And so we just want to make sure that you're taken care of and it's as smooth and easy a transaction as you can have. Outside of that, I've been looking at some other opportunities and got some other things, personally planned stuff. But I've got two teenage girls now. My youngest is now 13, so I'm into that phase of my life. And so, yeah, it's a good time going on over here. But I did want to plug head to head the sports. I'm telling you, and I say this, and he does not pay me to say this, but I watch the show, and I watch the show because, like, when I play fantasy football, I've been able to dominate leagues based on the information. And when I say that they have more stats and more analysis and more good takes than most professional shows and stuff, because they're not being bought by people to tell some cooked up version of what's going on in the league and stuff. It's just really, really honest and very, very detailed information, and it's fun. So make sure you check that out in the next couple of weeks when it comes on.
Absolutely.
And he's also good on his predictions.
Oh, I mean that's what I'm saying. Really,
and at the after the big show, he's been very on point on his predictions.
They will break down at the beginning. I'm just telling you, if you only watch it one time, because you don't do the whole league. You need to watch it the first couple of episodes where they're breaking down the preseason stuff and they're talking about the moves and coaching and stuff like that. I'm telling you, in terms of if you play fantasy and you're kind of on the board about who's where and stuff, because we all know big names, who you might want on your team and stuff. But as you get deeper and stuff, they're going to flesh out teams for you. And their personnel and what their potential are and what their obstacles are for the upcoming season and stuff. It's a great football show.
Yeah, I'd like to get in the weeds a little bit too, whether we talk about certain defense looks that different teams give, their base defenses, whether it's going to be a 4-3 or like how the Panthers are switching to a 3-4 this year with their new defensive coordinator Evero, and being able to use some of those edge rushers in different situations now, and not quarterback not knowing where the actual pass rush is coming from, just stuff like that. See, as much as he like talking about real estate, I can sit there and talk football and things like that. So we're gonna have a really, really good time doing that. Absolutely, that's gonna be a good show. Eventually, what I would love to do is be able to get some partners to come on board with us and do other shows, whether it's on the NBA, whether it's Major League Baseball, hockey. Folks have always asked, "Hey, why don't you do other sports?" And I'll be honest with you, it is so time consuming just doing football and the 18 game regular season plus the playoffs, the preseason, and everything like that to try to then do an all encompassing all kinds of sports. As much as I love those sports, it would take so much time that it would literally become a full-time job. There's no way I could do my regular day job at all because it's just so much always going on.
I think a lot of people don't understand how much goes into content creation. And I did want to throw this plug out there for content creators and stuff. With the Writers Guild striking, with the Actors Guild, I know my brother's a SAG card member, looking at joining them and striking too. And as he said before, people turning to streaming. If there's not a better time for you to be out here creating content because people need things to watch. and the pot's going to run dry here pretty soon with the writers on strike. What we're getting right now is content that was made, produced before the strike and stuff, and that's going to start running dry because it doesn't feel like they're going to get anything done here anytime soon and stuff. So there's going to be a void out there, and this would be a great time to fill the void.
Great, that's a great point. All of the shows, the writers went on strike May the 12th, and SAG is about to go on strike in about 4 hours and 25 minutes. And who's counting? And no telling how long that's going to last. It's funny. I did see on, and take it for what it's worth, Twitter, and we'll talk about that too. But somebody on Twitter, I just read one comment when I saw the strike was coming. Some dummy had posted something about they're a bunch of overpaid rich people anyway. Who cares?
Yes.
What people don't realize is that most actors in SAG's union are not Scarlett Johansson, Ben
Robert Downey, yeah,
Damon, Robert Downey Jr. They're not those people. They're not Samuel L. Jackson, Denzel Washington, Will Smith, Martin Lawrence. Those are the names that you see and you hear. But there are other actors. The majority of the actors in the SAG union are not those multi-million-dollar actors. These are actors that rely on roles, whether it's roles in commercials, whether they're roles doing background acting, whether it's roles doing voiceovers, television. A lot of those background people are part of the SAG-AFTRA union. So it is not just impacting the big name actors that you would commonly think about. There are a lot more. It's kind of the same thing in basketball. When you see LeBron James sign a 50-something million dollar a year contract, you think they all make 50-something million dollars a year. And there's an NBA league minimum that some of these guys don't even make $500,000 a year, which of course is more than what the rest of us normally make. But keeping it honest, there's a big difference between the guy that makes, $750,000 a year. What is up, John James? Sorry, John James joined. I And
heard.
yeah, there's a big difference between the NBA player that makes the $750,000 a year contract and Kevin Durant and LeBron James making all that money. And SAG-AFTRA is the same way. There's a lot more actors on the lower end than those big names that you hear about or that you see on the bigger screen.
And also, as well as as small businesses that support that for catering,
Correct.
lighting, everything. All of these other individuals will be then out of work.
That's correct.
So I think they need to start moving along or coming together, even though they had posted that the film industry brought in a mediator at the last, at the last hurrah to try to sit here and to move it along. But
yeah, and what they decided to do, even though they're bringing in the mediator, they're not moving the time in the day.
yes,
And they're doing that to keep the pressure on, so they don't say, okay, you're not going to stall us out with the mediator. We can walk and chew gum at the same time. And if you're doing everything in good faith, then the mediator should be able to come in and get this process done in the next 4 hours and 21 minutes. Who's counting? Um, Somebody asked me with my job today, hey, are y'all still walking around with the picket signs and things like that? And the answer is yes. If I was in New York right now, I probably would have been at SAG-AFTRA headquarters all week. They've been preparing all week at headquarters making the picket signs. So that would have been something that I've been more involved with, but I'll just strike in my own way, whatever that is, which is I won't accept any roles, of course, until then. But to Jermaine's point, a lot of the shows that are out there right now have already been in. When you see a show right now, it was filmed a while back, and it had to go through its post-production, editing, and things like that, editing, color, sound, and all those types of things before you actually see it on TV on the screen. But the writers haven't been writing any new scripts. And if SAG goes dark, then a lot of the films and things that were slated to come out in the fall on your favorite TV channel is going to be reruns.
Or as you say to me, Brian, or make fun of me all the time, that you'll just be watching Murder She Wrote reruns over and over and over
Ain't nothing
again.
wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But Laura, you made a very good point about the trickle down effect of SAG. It's sort of like, and I'm gonna tie this back to housing. When the housing market goes under,
Yeah.
it doesn't just affect buyers and sellers and stuff.
Mhm.
There are appraisers, there are general contractors, there are carpenters, electricians, Home Depot, people that supply things for houses, insurance companies. It affects your local taxes and how much money your county brings in, and what they can do in terms of improvements, local improvements and stuff, because they use that tax money for that. So it's one of those kind of things when they're striking and stuff. It has so many more ripple effects than just the
Right.
active stuff. And people are absolutely right. It's not like say Sam Jackson. Sam Jackson is not going to be hurt by this. I mean, he's not going to. He's part of the union. He's not going to do anything in terms of accepting work, but financially he's going to be okay. But as Disney has Secret Invasions out right now for Marvel, they're doing that. There are people that acted on the show that provided catering, like Lori said, to the show. Key grip isn't
Mhm.
working. The lighting, the taxi, just the Uber drivers that were taking people back and forth. It affects the economy. So, and especially a huge industry like that, the ripple effects can just be felt throughout and stuff. So, um, I don't know, and maybe Brian, you have some suggestions for what maybe people who aren't SAG card holders, what they can do to help support writers and actors um, during this time.
The it's kind of a two-headed monster with that. Watch more streaming, um, and if you want to send emails to some of the bigger studios, whether it's Warner, whether it's Disney, whether it's Universal, Legendary, some of those bigger studios, and just say, hey, y'all need to figure this out. Um, that actually makes a difference, whether it's on the social media platforms and things like that. They're not going to answer your phone call, but social media and things like that really does get things going with that. Just
Well,
stand,
I
just
got a
stand
question.
by. Use the hashtags. We stand with SAG. We stand
Mhm.
with the Writers Guild, WGA.
So I got my question is that when you say watch more streaming, isn't part of the issue streaming and the revenue that they are not
Yeah.
sharing?
Yes.
Yes, streaming, and also one of the things that SAG is bringing up is that we want some guarantees to protect us against artificial intelligence. Um, as I saw you, Erica, and Joe, if he's still on, using these AI apps, you can see now where even you're going to probably see the same thing trickling down um, with recording artists. There was a couple of months ago where Drake had to try to send a cease and desist where people were recording songs with Drake's voice and it wasn't Drake, but it sounded exactly like Drake, but
Yeah.
they were using artificial intelligence. So this is going to be a thing now where AI is stepping into the scene, and you have to understand that SAG-AFTRA for a lot of actors is their full-time job, meaning that their health benefits and everything is based off of being gainfully employed with SAG-AFTRA. And a lot of them have to have a certain amount of money to make to qualify for those benefits to be considered full-time.
Mhm.
And a lot of ways that they qualify to for that dollar amount is through what we call residuals. And what residuals are is if I go and I film a TV show, every time that show airs, there's residuals for being on that show. So I may have gotten a salary for initially being on the show, but every time that show is in syndication, so they now that show is you see it on like she talks about Murder She Wrote or something like that. There's royalties that are paid every time somebody's song is played. There's royalties involved with that. Well, if AI comes into the picture, they can bypass paying you royalties because they can say, "Well, it sounds like you, but we didn't use you. We used the likeness of you." So SAG is saying, well, hold the hell up. Before y'all get to that point where y'all gonna start to act like you can circumvent us by just creating a lot of stuff with CGI and all this other kind of intelligence, we need to make sure that you're doing right by the people that really do generate this revenue for you. So it's just making sure that, and Jermaine, you're right. The way commercials have been in the past and the way some of these things have been in the past, we've moved away from that as a society. Streaming a lot of ways cuts that cord with some of the bigger companies. Now, if you're streaming stuff from Amazon Prime, well, that's still more in cahoots with some of the bigger studios out there. HBO Max, with same example. When I say streaming, I'm talking about independent streaming off of Tubi, independent streaming off of Roku, where these are more independent artists that this is where they have the ability to put their work up and you can view it. And I've seen a lot of movies off of Tubi, and they're actually they're not bad at all. Their budgets may have been a little bit more limited and restricted than a Warner Brothers Discovery or something like that. But the content is still actually pretty good. So doing stuff like that where you start to show the studios, because the studios have to realize once people find other alternatives, then you're gonna have to do a lot to bring them back. Like when COVID hit and they realized people weren't gonna come to the studios, and HBO was sitting there just putting everything on HBO Max as soon as it came out without it going to theaters and stuff. They lost a lot of money doing that, but that was the only way that they could kind of keep people's interest and stuff. So get away from them so much to let them know that you can still be entertained without them, so that they can understand that, hey, wait a minute, we need to get these actors back in here so we can start producing content. Otherwise, people are going to start to deviate onto Roku, Amazon Fire, and it's going to be even harder to snatch them back because
Yeah,
cable prices are already high as it is.
yeah, when you said streaming, I think some people might have been thinking like HBO Max,
You're right.
Disney, and that's why I was asking for clarification. Like, that's feeding back into the thing. Now, I'm gonna finish up Secret Invasions. I'm not gonna lie. So
Is it good?
if when you've invested, I've read comic books coming up, and when you've invested this much time into characters and stuff,
Right.
it's not and Marvel has taken liberties with the comics in their live action adaptation, so it's not really the same thing as the comic book story Secret Invasions, but I thought they come out every Wednesday, new episode every Wednesday. So I saw yesterday's, and it was the 4, 5, or 6 episodes. It was pretty good. So
So keeping some of that same fire right now, Jermaine. I was wondering what you thought about the whole DCEU doing another reboot, and how you think that's going to go now with not Kevin Feige. Um, now I can't think of the guy's name. The two guys that are now spearing DC now, that's Zack Snyder, and that team is now done. They ended with Justice League, and actually they pretty much ended with the Flash that just came out not too long ago, where it's kind of been announced. Of course, Ben Affleck's not going to return back as Batman, and Henry Cavill is not going to return as Superman, and I haven't heard anything about Gal Gadot, about Wonder Woman, or Flash, and
Jason plays Aquaman. What's his name? Jason
Momoa.
Momoa.
Yeah, coming back, and all those, and what they're going to do with that reboot, and what that's going to be like. But it kind of seems like it's been a little bit messy starting off. I know they're going to come out with Superman Legacy in 2025. That's supposed to really jump things off. But I even hear something about a Blue Beetle, which is going to be part of their friend. Is it Blue Beetle?
It's Blue Beetle, and so what I heard was that they're going to have Blue Beetle. It's going to be one of the first movies of the new DCU, even though it was not scripted and filmed with the new DCU plan in place. So here's and this is real nerdy, and you asked the right person for it. But the real nerdy answer is that the problem with the DCU is that they were 10 years behind Marvel and trying to get a connected movie universe, which was something really no one on that scale had ever tried before. It's a lot to ask directors and writers as we talk about the guild and stuff like that, and how talented they are to keep continuity over movies. And you go, well, that should be easy. Well, a lot of that stuff is not easy because they don't know, the way that movies are planned out and stuff. A lot of the details that would be continuity aren't there yet for the writers, or it might be a secret. It might be something that's under wraps. And Marvel's really big for NDAs for not spilling the beans on their secrets and stuff, so they can keep their movies interesting and keep them people coming back to see what's going on. And so it's hard to do that, and that's why they had to have one person steering the ship with Kevin Feige. But DCU was late to it, and they wanted to microwave the process. They did a Justice League movie without having a Flash movie, without having a Cyborg movie. They introduced characters without the Marvel
without their backstories, because
without,
ideally those backstories would have led up to the Justice League movie.
Marvel, when they started Iron Man, it really, and actually they kind of count the first Hulk movie with Edward Norton as really precursor to that. But everybody recognized the Iron Man movie is one of the thing that kind of jump started it with the popularity of that movie and stuff. But and they introduced Captain America and slow rolled it in, and by the time they had the first Avengers movies and stuff, every one of those characters, minus like a Hawkeye and Black Widow, who eventually got their movies and stuff, or Black Widow did, but they tried to just throw it together. The second bit, we're going to do Superman versus Batman. We're going to do that storyline and stuff, and that is so outside of. One of the things that the DC, what's really surprising about DCU is that DCU has an excellent animated brand, and their animated movies are way better than anything Marvel has ever put out. But Marvel put the legwork in for the live action stuff and built it. And so when Age of Ultron and the Avengers movies were grossing these huge box office and stuff, DCU said, we need some of that money too. And we have a property just like that, put it together. And so I think that's more of a case of not artistry, but business. People who don't understand audiences or history or what people really want, just throwing stuff out there to them. And so do I think that they can recover? Sure, if they got 15 years to invest in it. Really, if they're willing to take the time and really build the universe, and not, it's like a house.
Yeah.
You can put a roof on before you put the walls up, but it's not really worth anything. And so that's kind of DCU. They're just cart before the horse type stuff.
Right.
And the Flash, so we all went. My big brother took me out to go see the Flash and everything, and I thought it was a nice, good, campy movie and stuff. But the problem was it had no stakes because everybody knew nobody in those movies was going to come back. It didn't matter what happened in the movie. So there were a lot of people who just didn't go see it because why? It had no stakes and stuff. We'll just wait for Superman Legacy to come out. Whenever you get your shit together, we'll come back.
Right.
Kind of the thing. And so, yeah, I think that it'll be okay if they slow down and pace it. But what I fear is that money is always the motivator. And as soon as they come through, because as soon as the DCU had the Wonder Woman movie and it did well, they were like, we're going to do a second Wonder Woman movie, and it was horribly written.
Yeah.
And that was it. Just wasn't the same.
It was bad.
Go on.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Yeah.
Bad.
And it actually came back. Gal Gadot and we talk about Black Widow. Those movies went to streaming and stuff, and those actresses sued those studios and stuff because they were losing money because they put them on streaming channels and stuff.
Right.
And they were supposed to be theatrical releases. And so, all this stuff kind of comes back in together. It's about money. Pay the writers, pay the actors, get the content back out there. A little fan service, like the Flash movie, I thought was very well written. But it just for some people it didn't resonate because they just didn't see what the point was. Because and the biggest problem with the Flash movie was is that the lead character, the Flash, had so many legal problems and personal issues going on. When your lead actor can't promote the movie and people have a disdain for him,
Right.
and they know he's not coming back anyway,
Yeah.
it didn't matter how good it was. And he did great in the movie.
You know, that was like the first time I heard DC announce that Ben Affleck had been picked to be Batman, and I just sat there and I almost just fell down. Um, only be
He literally did.
Yeah, because it was almost like, okay, how many films is he going to be in? Because the whole thing that was appealing about Robert Downey Jr. being Iron Man at the time was he was young enough to be able to play that role for 10 plus years. Chris Evans was able to be Captain America for 10 plus years. Ruffalo was able to be the Hulk for 10 plus years. Chris Pine and not Pine, the other Chris,
Pratt.
Pratt was able to sit there and do Guardians and all of that, and Helmsworth and all of them. They got them at the right time of their life where they could play that role. But Ben was already pushing over 40 as a Batman, and it just was like, okay, well, how many? Knowing how long it takes to produce a movie, like if a movie comes out this year, the sequel ain't coming out for at least 2 years. So
What I would say about that is that most of when you look at comics and stuff, when you're looking at Batman, he's in his 40s.
Yeah.
Because his early years in his early Batman, he didn't really start crime fighting because he spent years overseas perfecting himself, and by the time he started crime fighting, he might have been late 20s, early 30s.
Right.
And so when you see the season, this is I Am Batman. And quite honestly, now when they first announced Ben as Batman and stuff, I was totally against it till I saw his performance, and he has been one of the better Batman.
He has. It's just that a comic book 40-year-old is really different than a real 40-year-old. So in acting, it's called we have to kind of cheat the role. Now, not all, but if it's a role that requires action and fitness, and we all kind of understand that when we get a certain age, it takes a little bit longer for things to kind of go back to where they originally were. Or
I don't care.
Not you, sweetheart. Not you, because you're forever 39.
Oh, wait.
Okay. Check us in the mail, Lori. Thank you very much.
Not you.
Well, I meant everybody other than me. I'm an Adonis, but I'm a specimen. I was born in the lab. But everybody else that actually came out of a vagina, it's a little bit different for you people. Things hang a little lower, when you get older. So I just think that you kind of had to cheat the age a little bit, even if you had to kind of age somebody a little bit into the role to make them catch up. It's just harder when they have to start out that way. Your body don't rebound that way.
Well, and so I think maybe if you're talking about maybe like a Jason Bourne type thing.
Yeah.
In this one, because he is a costume crusader, he does most of his fighting in a costume. Stunt doubles are, and so the physicality needed from the primary actor just isn't the same. Now if it was Tom Cruise, he would be doing all his own stunts.
Yeah, because all he does is run, and he's 70 years old.
He's still doing the run.
I'm telling you, hey, look,
I do need to see the Mission Impossible because he's doing the same thing. That's just a part one, and then there's going to be a part two to that.
Yeah.
So talking about continuity, my God, how many Mission Impossibles has he done? And you still keep the same core people, Ving Rhames and all the other people, around him too, and that's really what kind of drives that franchise too. So it's very hard to do that. So moving on along, because I know we running short on time, and some things that Anthony brought up earlier, things that have been going on since we've been out. He brought up Joe sending money overseas. Well, Anthony, to be honest, we've been sending money overseas, whether it's to Ukraine, whether it's to Africa, whether it's to Saudi Arabia, whether it's to Afghanistan, whether it's to Kuwait. We send money all over the place. And when you say we got people here that could benefit from that. That has always been the case, where we definitely look at how we can be the world's police and the world's saviors, but we'll spit. Now, I was going to make a show about this, Jermaine. Um, and I guess this is a show. So I was thinking about the fact that, all these people out here talking about they pro-life. And I think, we've always talked about how the right is really good at branding something. Like they'll take something and turn it into something else, whether it's CRT or anything, and turn it into a bad word. And they turn pro-life into a bad word too, because pro-life is kind of crazy with the way people use it, because they're not really pro-life. Because if your definition of pro-life is I'm for a woman carrying a baby to full term and having a baby, yet you don't understand that once this baby is born, that we have a obligation in a community sense to make sure that these kids have good schools, that we make sure that after school programs are there, kids that need to qualify for SNAP benefits, that we provide SNAP benefits, that we make sure that kids aren't getting shot in schools as much as possible. When you say that you're pro-life, but you're against all those other things, how in the hell are you really pro-life? You're anti-abortion. And that's not the same thing as pro-life. You'd rather say I'm pro-life because it sounds like you're snatching away some sort of moral high ground. But when the other moral high grounds come into play, like making sure that these kids don't end up on the streets, they're not homeless, they don't have to go to school just to have a decent meal. Now, all of a sudden, we're not pro-life. They need to find some bootstraps to pull themselves up by. So I have a problem with the term pro-life because it's more of a gimmick and a play on a word. And if you say you're pro-life, embrace life, whether it's the life of a kid or life or people's lives in general. When people say Black Lives Matter, first thing they say is all lives matter. Do they? So I thought you were pro-life. A dude gets killed on a damn subway, and they're acting like the guy that killed him was a hero. But I thought you were pro-life. It's all these hypocritical things that you'll never get people that have those kind of views to acknowledge. But they say I'm pro-life out of one side of their mouth, and then the next side they'll say something that goes, well, wait a minute, how are you pro-life and you're against kids having SNAP benefits because you're against kids being able to get a $10,000 break on their college loans when you applied for PPP loans and got $1 million forgiven? How are you pro-life? You're not pro-life. You're pro people that look like you life. How are you pro-life when somebody's just living their life as a non-binary transsexual person and you're trying to erase their existence off the face of the earth because you don't agree with the way that they live? How are you pro-life? How do you call yourself Christian? That was going to be another show too, and I'll probably get into that too because I need to call out all these fake ass Christians that talk about what would Jesus do? Well, he wouldn't do what you're doing.
I will tell you, and for anybody who's watched the show for any amount of time, maybe you know what I'm going to say.
I do know.
But all this goes back to racism. And here's why: because the country was founded on some imbalanced morality, and so when you can, so the 4th of July just passed, right? Not for me, it didn't. And
not a celebration. Not a celebration.
Look, I'm saying right. I'm so happy to have that uniform off. So here, let me talk my shit real quick.
Okay.
So for anybody that wants to be like, oh, yeah, the blah 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 country patriot and stuff, I did 26 years and I didn't do no BS back in the States type stuff. I have multiple deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan. Hell, I go all the way back to Kosovo in terms of conflicts and stuff. So you can miss me with all that bullshit about you being a keyboard patriot and stuff. I'm a real deal GI Joe. I've had missiles and small arms, and I've done all my stuff. I'm good. So when I talk about this, I'm not talking about it from some uninformed, unpatriotic standpoint and stuff. The U.S. literally celebrates a holiday of independence when they own slaves. They talk about tyranny in their and how it was justified for them to fight back from that tyranny, and they killed slaves and put down rebellions and stuff, and held other people as property and stuff. Uh, when you start on that kind of uneven and shaky ground for your morality and stuff, everything else branches out from that. It's easy to be a hypocrite when your ancestors in this country is based on hypocrisy and stuff. You talk about bootstraps and stuff. Most of the people that came over here had money, and the people that didn't have money, that were indentured stuff, were allowed to work it off. And you know how they got their money? They stole it from the natives. They stole land and stuff, and they built equity and stuff over generations and stuff, as they were able to do stuff. Look, again, a show. We can do a whole show on this stuff.
Yeah,
but
we will.
And so for anybody that would love to come check me, please. I got more than a little bit of time right now for you, and so I'd love to get it in with you. And because I don't have the restraints that I had before, I'm killing your ass. I'm letting you know right now. This is not. I mean, I'm going to enjoy it, but you're not. You're not going to enjoy this conversation. I'm not going to hold back.
Rhetorically speaking,
Donald Trump. Oh, I've been wanting to play that so long.
Rhetorically speaking, he's going to kill your ass.
Yeah. Oh, that feels so good. Let me say, fuck Donald Trump. Oh God.
But and Lori,
no, you should sit there and say to Senator Tuberville, go to hell, especially holding up all of it.
Well, okay, so the Tommy Tuberville comments defending white nationalism, in my opinion, is twofold. He's stupid. He's ignorant, and what I mean by that is he doesn't understand that it's a real definition. I don't think he really understands that it's a real definition. But the problem is when somebody tries to educate him that it's a real definition. Well, I just call them Americans. Okay, well, most people that were born in America would agree that they're Americans. Being an American doesn't mean that you're not a racist. He's trying to split the baby and to say that, and it's funny, Jermaine, about the projection is real. I heard this man literally say, this is a word that Democrats like to call people racist without saying the word racist. You mean like CRT?
So I think so for me, one point is that, I like the banner. Well, I'll talk about that too. But I just want to say that we do a disservice by letting people like Donald Trump and Tuberville and Bob. Well, Bob might actually be an idiot. But
you talking about Lauren Boebert?
Bobbitt.
Oh yeah. It's a whole lot.
She might really be.
Taylor Green too.
Yeah, no. I don't think she is. So I think the problem is that we give them the space where we go, they're too stupid to understand the things they're saying, and I go, no, they're not. They understand exactly what they're saying. They're using that as a defense, and we're allowing them because they come off that way to use that. Well, they don't understand what they're saying. They understand exactly what they're saying. They're playing stupid because the country plays stupid. The Supreme, we talk about what's going on. Supreme Court ruling just came down. Another one. So they're taking away women's rights, and now they want to take away protections for minorities and stuff with
affirmative action.
Affirmative action. And so
and then they just legalized discrimination.
Yeah.
And they also took away the right to an abortion if you're serving in the military, regardless of where you are stationed. That is something that was just passed with the military. That if you need to get an abortion, they basically took the right to where you could have gone to a state that will actually help you. You can't do that no more.
Yeah, no, I banned too. So
This point, while I'm thinking about it, there needs to be a third party in American politics. Uh, Republicans are right when they say that Democrats come only come around to get black votes and stuff. They're absolutely right.
Yeah.
They say when they only clapping in your church and offbeat and half singing your hymns and stuff during election time, and then you don't see them all the time in your community and stuff. And they're absolutely
Or
right.
with Datikis in Congress during Black History Month.
Yeah. Jesus. And Republicans are right, and then Democrats are right. The Republicans outright won't even act like they want to do anything for you. They just straight up say, "What do you got to lose?" Without offering any policy or any change. There's got to be a party that represents minorities, especially people of color, like black people and stuff. I don't know what you call it. Maybe Black Panther Party. I'm just throwing it out there. But whatever it is, there's got to be another party that where you have candidates who you don't have to beg and plead to represent your issues. They're naturally inclined to represent those because they come from your communities, and it works great on all levels of government. The only time that it even becomes a question of how does that work is during presidential elections because we have an antiquated way of electing a president and nobody else uses the electoral college again based on racism. So they can make sure that the southern states that didn't have as many people and stuff could be represented and stuff, and that's not how a representative democracy works. But people believe that that's something that we should still do today because branding. All this stuff is good marketing and branding and stuff. It's the reason that me as a 6'4" black man, when I walk in somewhere, I walk around somewhere, somebody might be inclined to grab their purse. Not knowing that I hold a top secret TCI security clearance and stuff, and I'm probably more vetted than you are. So I should probably be holding my wallet around your po ass. But the deal is that we've got to have better representation and I say that because when we're doing lifetime appointments to the Supreme Court, when we're doing because those are elected by our politicians and stuff and confirmed by Congress and stuff, your vote matters. But we got to have politicians who intrinsically will fight for us and can't be bullied into Democratic or Republican ideals. They stand firm and they have to negotiate with us on our terms. And when we talk about losing all these rights and stuff, and for all those people who look, affirmative action, a lot of it's a branded thing again, talking about just like CRT with affirmative action and stuff. Affirmative action doesn't mean that if I have a bachelor's degree and you have a bachelor's degree that I automatically get it. What it means is if I have a bachelor's degree and you have a high school degree, you have to tell me why I didn't get the job when I'm more qualified than you.
Right.
The whole thing with affirmative action wasn't putting less qualified candidates in the jobs. It was making sure that qualified candidates got jobs over less qualified white candidates.
And
that's what affirmative action did.
Your race wasn't a strike against you.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was just, hey, explain to me how this guy Tom, with an associate's degree, and Jamal over here with a master's degree, he didn't get the job, but Tom got the job, and Jamal has actual work experience.
Tom go to the same church as the owner.
Yeah, explain. Just hey, affirmative action says that's not right. Affirmative action never said, well, if you both. Affirmative action even isn't tie goes to the runner. If me and Tom have the same degree and stuff, choose whoever you want to choose.
Yeah, right.
Affirmative action doesn't anything. Well, we couldn't give you the job because Jermaine was black. We had to give it to him. That's not what affirmative action says.
Just to make sure that the door Tom was able to walk through was still open for me to be able to walk through that same door.
Yeah. If I had the key to the door, I should be able to open the door.
But they branded it on folks having to be mandated to take lesser qualified to fill a certain quota, and it was never that.
It was, and so affirmative action was never a quota thing. It was just hey guys, you need to be able to explain this decision,
right?
And it really, really, really only applied rigidly to government positions, because in the private sector, what was to really force people, unless they were getting government money, to actually abide by it? Because let's be honest, they don't.
I mean, it's the same as the NFL's Rooney Rule, where they tried to put that in place to try to guarantee more qualified candidates of color would have opportunities in coaching and things like that. And there were still workarounds that these private owners did, where we'll bring them in, but I already know who I'm going to hire. I'll check off all the boxes and everything, but at the end of the day, the guy that I already want, me and him have had those back room conversations anyway, and I already told him, hey, only thing holding this up is this damn Rooney Rule, but once I get past that, then the job is yours.
And that's also a leading on to when you're talking about affirmative action, and then also the loss, or even in certain employers are like whittling down diversity and equity and inclusion jobs, because now it's a rethought, like I don't really need to do this anymore, or we don't
Yeah.
need to
Our
promote.
society is colorblind. We don't need to. And I love how white people, and I hate to say it like this, but I love how white people can only quote Martin Luther King's talking about the not being judged by the color of your skin, but the content in your character. I keep hearing them bring up content of character more than anything, and they get it from Martin Luther King. They don't read none of his other speeches. If Martin Luther King had any of them speeches right now, you'd call him a socialist, a Marxist, uh, and all these other kind of things. So y'all need to stop trying to quote him, when if he was alive and breathing right now, giving those speeches, you would say he was woke.
If he was allowed to give those speeches, they'd have shot him again.
They would shot him again, yeah.
And so you're absolutely right. And like I say, what people don't understand is that there's a reason why we have rules in society. And so real quickly, when the whole basis of community and society is that we pool resources together for better community and to help everybody and stuff. And so, as your earlier point, we're talking about pro-life. Well, what about taking care of the kids? What about making sure that minimum wage, that people can afford to live inside it? What people don't understand in general terms, and again, we branded that if you're rich, you're good. If you're poor, you're bad, because you're shiftless and you're not dedicated and you're not working hard enough and stuff. And there are a lot of people who are living day to day, who are working very hard just to be living day to day. So it's not about effort and stuff. It is a lot about opportunity and stuff, and environment in which they were raised and stuff, to what resources of this community they had access to. The big thing you got to understand is that the more and more the U.S. decides that they want to exclude people from the community, the less. If I'm not part of the community, I don't have any benefit of the community, then I don't have to live by your social norms and stuff. So it's always been proven that when there's prosperity for all, when everybody can get education and stuff, that's when things like homelessness, crime, violent assaults and stuff like that, that's when that goes down and stuff. So the more inclusive we are, the better we are. When we start being exclusive, that's when you have all those other issues that go on and stuff. And so if not for your fake Christianity, and your white Jesus, if not for that bullshit, then just for your personal safety and stuff, you should be about more social programs and stuff that bring more people into the fold and stuff. Why should I get insurance? Why should I not have an illegal firearm? Why should I not stick you up and kill you and stuff? If this society doesn't benefit me and stuff, and I'm Mad Maxing out here, then I'm just Mad Maxing out here. You
Right.
don't want to have the Thunderdome come to your house and stuff. We want everybody invested in the community. Therefore, they have something to lose and something to gain by the growth and the stability of that community and stuff. And that's what we're really. If you want to take away CRT, you want to take away all this other stuff. Just understand that small principle that we either all win together or we all lose together.
Oh yeah, right. Absolutely. Absolutely. We will continue that into next week as well when we continue the show. But before we close, there's a little segment that we like to bring up, Lori. You know it. What I don't like is, and I'm still gonna keep bringing up what I don't like, because as I go around every day, there's certain things that'll pop up that'll just kind of stick in my craw a little bit. That'll always make me say, you know what I don't like, Lori. Is there anything out there that you've been seeing lately that you don't like?
What I don't like is
She was ready.
what I don't. Sorry, I had to think about
I've
this.
been waiting 4 months for this shit. I'm
Well,
ready.
why don't you go first? Because
No. It's all you, lady. Go ahead. You got it.
no. What I don't like is liars and people that are dishonest.
I said I was sorry.
Yes. If I have to, I guess as of late, I've been encountering individuals that, again, are pushing their own agendas and they're just not being truthful, which, again, annoys me because then they think that I'm stupid. So that's what I don't like because they're insulting my intelligence and they think that I have no intelligence and that I'm just really a jackass. But that's what I don't like.
Okay.
Hmm.
What you got, Jay?
I don't like when passengers ride down the road with no shoes on, with their feet sticking in the window or out the window and stuff. I don't like that shit. That's gross. Put your socks on, put your shoes on, and put your feet on the fucking floor. I don't like that.
I keep seeing
Thank you.
people do that, and I don't know where the level of comfort is to stick your damn feet out a window. No, I'm gonna add to that, Jermaine.
All right.
It's bad enough that you sticking your feet out the damn window. What make it worse is that the bottom of your feet is dirty.
It's dirty.
Yep.
And your nails ain't done, so they look like they arguing with each other, crunchy looking, ashy. Like, why would you stick those? I mean, what are you advertising? Please cut these ugly bitches off. What are you doing? What do you want somebody to do with that? They can't unsee what they just saw.
Or smell it because you're trying to air. And why are you airing your feet out the window?
Well, probably because the person driving said they stank. That's why they're probably out the window.
Yeah,
but I don't like that.
You know what? That wind gonna blow it right back.
And blow it right back in.
So you still gonna get it. How about this? Wash your dirty ass feet before you get in my car, then you ain't got to worry about sticking them out the window. How about that? Let's do that. Let's stop being crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I told you before I don't like ugly babies, and Lori gave me this crazy look. But I see it more and more and more, man. These people sit there and these ugly ass babies, and everybody want to believe that just because they a baby, you can't always say that just you was born ugly and over the years you started looking better. That does happen at times. Or you just can't say that, okay, the baby was born beautiful and over the years they turned butt ass ugly. But you need to accept the fact, listen, everybody ain't at the same place. Maybe your baby ain't the prettiest, but maybe he catch on real quick. Maybe there's certain things that you can sit there and talk about what the baby do that don't have nothing to do with the way that they look.
Stop. Hold on. Besides your baby comment, Erica Shepard says, what I don't like is when people just stop talking to and don't give you the common decency to explain what the problem is. That is so true. Thank you, Erica. Because it's just like, can you just be a grown up and tell me what the hell is the problem?
Right.
You know what I don't like? I don't like people with crooked teeth talking to me, telling them to me straight. That's what I don't like.
Well, even bouncing off what Erica says, I just don't like people that think that the way a real conversation is through text messages and things like that. We've gotten so far away from people actually having conversations, and they read too much into what a text says, or they don't really read it all. But you know what? And speaking of text messages, listen, I know everybody wasn't the best
speller
student in school. But if you gonna post something on social media,
spell it right.
Please learn how to freaking spell or use spell check to make
don't always rely on spell check.
If you can't spell, at least try to use spell check. Now it can still mess you up because the word might be right. As in, hey, I lent Jermaine some money. L-I-N-T lent. Now, spell check ain't gonna tell you that the word is wrong, but I'm gonna tell you that Jermaine didn't give you no lint out of his pocket.
Oh no, because his pocket is full with green.
Learn how to spell, y'all. I mean, my God. And then y'all go around talking about we don't need books in school and this and that and the other. Apparently, because you don't want your kids to grow up and be smarter than your dumb ass was. Natasha Simpson. Hey, Natasha.
Use punctuation. Yes.
I hate run-on sentences in posts and text. Yeah, because then you got to read it like 4 or 5 times and figure out where the breaks are.
I'm gonna go against you guys on this one. I actually like that stuff, and here's why I like it.
Oh, I know.
It lets me know to stop fucking reading. That's what it lets me know. It lets me know that this conversation's over, and there's nothing I need to get from it. That's what it lets me know. Y'all keep being ignorant. Don't hide it from me. I want to see it. That way, when I see it, I can be done with it. Y'all act like it's a bad thing. Why y'all reading all this stuff? It'd be a paragraph this long, and y'all keep on reading. I'm at the first 2 lines. I'm like, oh no, I'm good.
I'm reading it for the fuckery. I want to just see how far this rabbit hole goes, because I can always pull myself back. I just want to see.
You can't, because you get caught up in it and you still going.
See how far a dumbass is gonna go and post stuff on it, and I'm reading it going, did they even proofread it? Did they just type it and hit send?
They do.
Yes.
They do. And look,
absolutely.
I'm probably thinking the same people that you thinking of.
Yes.
That do that stuff. And I'm telling you right now, I know it's an inside joke. Don't nobody else know it's an inside joke. But
it's like a one take. I'm gonna type it. Here's the thing. I've done it before too, where I missed a word. And the good thing about Facebook is you can hit the edit button, and you can change the post, and then resave it, and it'll save it as the correct thing.
You don't have to know that you were wrong first. You would have to know that you were wrong, and I'm telling you, they don't know that they're wrong.
There would have to be some consciousness there.
There has to be some consciousness there, and I'm not the one to bring it. So you know what? I'm a petty dude, right? But I'm not intentionally mean. I say mean shit, but it's not. I'm not going for your throat. That's not what's going on.
Right.
But yeah, I'm not gonna correct you. I like to say, I get into it. I go, you know what? What's on Netflix? I'm not doing this.
I'm sitting there going, if you can't put the right words in a sentence, how do you help your kids? Because then when you check their homework, do you go, yeah, looks good to me? And the page.
The girls are in.
He goes to school the next day and gets their grade as an F, and they go, well, my daddy said everything on here look good.
My girls are going to 9th and 8th grade, and I can still help them with their homework. There's some motherfuckers who had to tap out at the kindergarten. Like, hey, little nigga, this on you. Good luck with that. I'm just saying, it ain't for everybody. Sometimes you have to be supportive in other ways.
I've seen some crazy words where I had to read it like 3 times ago. Oh, that's what they meant. Oh,
you know what? I read something the other day, and I thought I was having a stroke. Because I couldn't understand what they were talking. I actually had to Google what are the symptoms of a stroke. I said, because ain't no way. Like, my brain was, I had an error and I froze up a little bit and stuff. I said, what is it I'm trying to read? Like, I can't make no sense out of this. I read it 3 or 4 times and had to come finally. I was like, oh, it ain't me. This is just written so badly that I'm thinking that I can't, like, my learning. Right. That's why I say, don't do it, because you guys make me dumber. And like you are the content that you ingest. Like, I think people who watch this are having a good time. We give some good knowledge and stuff, having a good time stuff. You're not gonna get too much dumber watching this show and stuff. No. If you get dumber with this stuff, leave it alone.
Yeah, there's just some people that they post stuff on this social media and stuff, and I love it especially when they feel like they done figured out something and they deep in thought and they want to post something that's really supposed to be mind-blowing and altering and that kind of thing, and you read it and go, you missed it because your dumb ass wouldn't even proofread what you typed. I'm just going, You thought you was really on to the next great wonder of the world, and now people wondering about your ass. So y'all be careful out there when you're typing up stuff, because we might read it, and trust me, we laughing at you all the time. We screenshot that shit. We send it. We send it to other people. So be careful when you're typing that stuff up, especially when you can't spell your own name right.
Well, look at the time.
I'm sorry, did I say? Listen, okay. So, anywho, and Lori is just done. So, listen, we do what I don't like every single week. If you missed any of the show, please catch it. It does air on Roku the following day, Amazon Fire the following day. It's always going to be up on our YouTube channel. So please go to YouTube and subscribe. We definitely want the likes and the shares. Get more people to watch it so that the algorithms can really reach out there and let other people know about the great show and everything. Hey, Natasha, we really appreciate that. Visit us on YouTube. Find NPower TV Network. Like I said, please subscribe, and also share it. And we'll have other programs and everything else coming up. If you're interested in commercials or anything else, please, again, reach out to us at theparkermedia@gmail.com. Until next time, I'd like to thank my host, Lori Parker, Jermaine, the franchise Parker, for stopping in and giving us his knowledge that everything is racist, which it is. And we will do this again next week. Every show had fun coming in after 4 months and doing this all over again. Totally missed you guys out there. We will see y'all again next week. Y'all take care.
This is ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it.